morning, class. Welcome to Homeroom with Unc and Market Monk. Morning, P. How's your week?
It was good. It was good. I hit some stops on some things off earnings, just share positions I'd had for a long time. AVGO, it went down like 11% on earnings at about 5. Cleared that one out, and still just hanging around, not lingering too long. Lulu DCA went really well for me, and then just working to be patient. Still really like the data center trade, but that's just has a lot more room for pullback. But some of the rotations into the mall and restaurants and things like that, starting to work pretty well. So got some of the weed plays too. I don't know, you probably did as well, but that was probably the biggest winner of the week.
There was weed plays. What happened with the weed?
Yeah. Right.
I never heard of those. You can trade weed stocks. Damn. Last five been out. I had the first note I wrote down. It's kind of chronological order, but man, last five's been hitting. Just like everything I do, it usually takes the 2 weeks. PL came through because of the ER this week, though.
Yeah.
That was good, bro. I've said it before, but like I don't like write it down. It's like if you pay attention, you get little things. But I don't drop collabs on Monday. I just don't. We just did a 3 hour session. By the time it's done, I probably did 5 hours of work. Yeah, I ain't giving. Why do I need to do anything on Monday for you guys? Like I'm a swing
Yeah.
trader. It's really not going to change. I think I dropped five. I also dropped them during the market hours
Right.
because it did. The look was there, and we kind of it's only where we've been a little different lately is I went into the rotate, and you kind of went to the we're definitely pulling back and kind of close to the best as you would say, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think like last week or the week before I was like, no, we're game on here, and I am mindful that the flow's not there in its short term, but man, it's just 2 to 3% a day. I called it 3-2 last week, but all of those, you kind of touched on the DCA's, but like Target, I'm just gonna talk about my table pounders. P Target, I mean
Yeah.
we're 97 now, 96. We're trying to buy that in the 80s. Um, Lulu, I think that's where we did cross streams.
Yep.
Appreciate you, man. Talk me into buying stuff up there in that um, you know, 150, 300, 600, $800 range and just kind of treating the share size a little different. I finally got over that 10 share thing. Um, Kind of eye opening because that's how we tell people with smaller accounts to trade. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but teach their own on that. And then, man, CGC, talk about talk about like a good trade. Well, but for me, it wasn't the trade P. I gave everybody a very specific plan on what to do. Um, and in the reality of it, you'd have been about $90 in if you would have stuck to it.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the point. The point is we figured out that it's not the money, it's not the plan, it's the execution of doing something every day for a lot of people. I reached out to 4 or 5 people. All green trades, but you get that I don't do the work daily, so I didn't get a big trade, and I don't think that equates a lot. The ones that do, you see them in the room. It's a red day I'm gonna buy. You see those guys in the room. They do really really
Yeah.
well on that kind of stuff. So a good week overall. News is king. Sorry for going long on the front part, but I ain't had a goal in a while on the week, and we did really good last week. So I'm just a little juicy today.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I think, and one thing that you mentioned, where we're differing in, pullback um, versus rotation. I'm on board with the rotation, and
Yeah, yeah.
definitely in some respects, in that, like, the mall and restaurants. I was like a couple weeks ago was saying those. The thing to me that jumps out in the flow is that it's kind of like it's not one to one in that rotation. In that, if AVGO is going to drop 11% and Oracle's going to drop 15%, um, and then Lulu goes up 10%, and whoever Macy's has a good week or whatever. It's not the same amount of money. Like, it's not
Oh
that
yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So in terms of like the overall picture, in the flow and its impact on the indices and like all that stuff, it's it's very different. It's conditions that sort of look bleak overall, but that really is the kind of market. Not that we're really in that, but that was where I learned how to do this was
Sure.
when everything just looks like shit, and like ones I got in on reading flow on like snow and stuff like that, like we're just hemorrhaging every week. But here's oil, and here's steel, and here's Macy's, and here's airlines and play, and and stuff like that. So I if we're gonna get in those kind of conditions, like I'm definitely on board with with finding the bullish setups in that. The difference now for me years later is I have positions in some of this big tech stuff that's pulling back, and just you just got to make some decisions. I Everyone's been on Amazon. They're like it's flat on the year, and that phrase this time of year, that phrase is always kind of meaningless to me because okay, so you bought the stock on what, January 2nd, and now you're flat. No one really buys stocks in that way, right? So there was a great spot for Amazon. We were all over it. Google even more so, and then now it's pulling back, and now you just have to make a decision. And the last thing I'll say on it is that phrase that people throw around, cash is a position. What they mean is like they're trying to convince you that I'm not stocks are going down and I'm not bagged because I'm not in it at all. Um, Cash becomes a position for me now where I hit some planned stops on some things and now have way more cash than I did a week ago, which is a good problem to have, I think. So that's just kind of different way to look at that same that same phrase, I guess.
Yeah. I wrote down office semis is has been one of my biggest skills. I think a lot of people get stuck over there. Just wanted to say that. It
Yeah.
probably is because I got Nvidia out the gate um, back in the day. So I don't know why, but I can turn that off. I didn't do a great job with EV during that run. Um, but in general, yeah, I'm with you on the 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 sentiment of the cash as a position. I definitely want to touch base on that. I mean, you should always have a cash position. Let's start there.
Yeah,
But
dry powder, right?
yeah, I mean, if you're trading, there's gonna be the bus stop analogy, right? Like there's just gonna be a waiting platform. I mean, I don't sell some Nvidia or Nvidia hits a stop loss. I'm like, fuck, I got to put this money somewhere today. Um,
Yeah.
if I did, and I used to do this before I was, on the Twitter sphere. If I was in that position, I'd just buy a CD. I mean, that's what I would
Yeah.
do with it. Now that I'm trading, that's definitely not the case because I don't want to get locked up for 3, 6 months or a year. Um, but yeah, you gotta. It's a fine line for me, P. The you gotta have cash, but if your whole account's cash and you're just waiting for a position, I think you're putting yourself in a bad situation. Um,
Yeah.
the DCA is for anyone that's pro or con um, that argument because you need cash to do that. So as soon as you figure that out, I think it's more about how much or where are you planning to go. I mean, there's times where um, I didn't do a great job because we didn't have a lot in April, but in April I was like, all right, let's build a cash position so I can buy here. Um,
Yeah.
and let's just rotate that to now. I'm not doing that right now. It might be more of a personal reason because I do not want to pay another fucking dollar in taxes that I'm gonna have to. Um, but even if that wasn't the case, I don't see that. I'm more in the rotate. I'm trying to rotate things that are out 118%
Yeah.
to stuff that's way undervalued, and that's just
Yeah.
more of a better mindset. So I think that's just a content thing. You know what I mean? That line. They don't make lines as good as you. And so cash as a position is just I sound smarter than the world, and I don't know
Yeah.
what the fuck I'm doing right now.
Right, right. So another yeah, as we get to this time of year, and I started talking about this like 3 weeks ago, which I think you thought was a little early. Um, Not early for me, but like it was early for you to be thinking in those terms of, kind of time to pack it up for the year kind of thing. And I see why you think that. I mean, like, you had a great week, weed plays, like all that stuff. But when I'm talking like big picture flow, the reason I said that is that the kind of the key expiration that I've been reading to some degree for like 6 months, or January 2026. The reason for that is, though, that expiration is the one that comes out first, years ahead of time, right? So it's been well traveled, and they move in and out of that expiration, and it's where, like, it's one half the boxing glove. It was the back half of the boxing glove, and now it's the front half. But I think you've probably noticed this, that the point at which, like, you can stop talking about January, and it's like we had November, February, November, April, that you start to distance yourself from it. They move out of it kind of both directions, bearish, bullish, whatever. Once they start to scale out of that, I have something else to read. So the biggest thing for me with flow right now is a lot of caution around new positions in January. If it's not that monthly expiration, it's a little different. If it's January 2nd or the end of the month or whatever. But that that expiration in particular, it's just in Chicago on the elevated train, and I'm sure lots of trains are like this, but from Oklahoma, like, when I was living up there, it was the first time I was around that. But anyway, you get in the middle of the platform, and you're just, you get your ticket to just go in, and then you can get on whatever train you want, whatever direction you want. And so, some of them are going to go up to Wrigley Field, some are going to go to neighborhoods you probably shouldn't go to, whatever. But the you're standing up there. I'm looking at the platform. I see all these whales moving around, and January alone is not going to tell you where they're going. They're going to give up on a lot of those positions and just punt them down the road, or they're going to flip bearish, or whatever. So there has to be a lot more, and my grading is a little more strict and harsher right now, just because there is a lack of clarity in a lot of setups that might look good on the TA side, um, but you're going to be driving the car on some of those for the next couple weeks until we start to get March, April. Like those are the ones. Once those start showing up, that's where we can really start reading things, and it's going to happen at different points for different sectors for different stocks. So that's a little bit just insight into my process right now.
Yeah, I am. I always try to read through the flow, like not to the flow. Like it's cool when it lines up and everything. Kind of make a simple note that the whales are looking what I'm looking at, or see what I see. Maybe a little cleaner windshield, best way to put that. Um,
Yeah.
but right now, with them selling a lot, or not having anything, kind of planned out or lined up, my head always goes to, they just have to make money in a position they don't want to get rid of.
Yeah.
Not necessarily defense or market movement. Yeah, so TA plays become um, definitely two trades still, but maybe a little bit more than two trades. And you put that stop loss in, and it's kind of stock dependent too. Whether it's something you want to keep longer, or it's something that you're just trading because it does have 15-20% and just shouldn't be here, and you've seen it over and over again because you know it really well. Um,
Yeah.
the skill is, use your train analogy, bro. You gotta know how to have the stop loss in Chinatown so you don't fuck yourself up. That's just how that works. You go past Chinatown on that Chicago train, you might be in trouble. Um,
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
you
Yes,
might be in
right.
fucking trouble. So you
Right.
better again, you better know what the fuck you're playing with if you're getting on trains. That's all I'm saying with that. No
Yeah.
matter no matter what city you in. Um,
Right.
couple things that I think make it easier in this time, and it's a note I had. It's easier to say thank you if you have some money. I noticed
Yeah.
that. If you don't got no money, or you don't think you got no money, whatever the case may be, it's hard to say thank you because you're trying to get to where you have money. Um,
Yeah.
Build it brick by brick, people. I just noticing that from talking to people, so I wrote that down. And kind of rotate not all the way to it, but boring trades, man. It seems like those are probably where you should be in this environment if you are looking to, for lack of better terms, day trade options. Um,
Yeah.
just because I mean, the 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 quietness, the familiarity, and stuff like that, kind of comes out in those. I looked at all the A's this week because obviously I was making a decision. I was like, I'm gonna go check the options. I was like, holy shit, that moved 50% today on like a 4% move. I remember when P used to talk about this stuff. Um, so I'd like to mention that to the room as well. But it's just again knowing what goddamn train you're on, especially when the market's really not going anywhere. When one train's broke, right, and it's like sitting there, and the other trains just keep going by, you kind of know the market direction, um,
Yeah.
and that's just not where we are right now.
Right. Yeah, and like Home Depot is a good example.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Procter and Gamble, Philip Morris is probably going to be there coming up. But yeah, that's those are kind of the ones you want, and it's why John Deere has been such a instrumental one for me. Cat's the same way, but it's not as easy to read for me. Some unless it's at the big spots. So we've had some great entries on Cat, but just in terms of outlook for the week, that kind of thing, John Deere's been better. And then it's always with that one, it's always right after earnings, right after their CEO shits on the stock and it drops. Just that recovery, really easy look for weeks after that. But um, yeah. So anyway, for me, I think one thing about what we do is you we say use the work. You have to get comfortable with how you want to do that, and the idea of playing stuff pretty small, like having small positions, and we joke about one share gang or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to put like a ton of money into many of these setups to use the work, see it happen, and just make a little money off of it and just get consistent. And the um, the last thing I think that you want to do is put a lot of pressure onto yourself and trading. Especially you got a lot of other things going on. Most of the people in our room have careers, kind of like kind of like that. The this space is full of kind of like all or nothing people who just they don't really actually have. They're young um, and they don't have a lot to lose. They don't have um, a lot of a lot of responsibilities, and that those are not the people that you want to be taking any kind of not advice from. So I always like it when people in here. I mean, we get to the end of the year, they kind of look back. How was my year? Where where do I want to improve? And so definitely always enjoy those conversations and just encourage people to bring that up and talk about what is it you're trying to do here and how does that fit into what we do and what can we do to help that along.
Yeah, I mean, talking about start of the year, we start with Redfin and AG. It's been a long
Yeah.
year. I mean,
Yeah.
I was thinking about that last night, basically with the read the room stuff. Where I want to go, and man, I mean, five or six good table pounders. I won't call CGC a table pounder, but five or six good table pounders. Like I don't know how you had a bad year unless you were again super super greedy. I mean, just in general, looking at the market, you shouldn't have had a bad year. I don't care who you're out there following. If you're listening to this, you really shouldn't. And if you did, you need to adjust that a little bit, or just maybe your trading style. Um, kind of on the room, man. I don't want to rant much, but CGC kind of opened the eyes for a lot of things. I mean, it doubled down on the no alert. I mean, because if you alert without a plan, people are going to come to you and say, I was in a meeting and I got bagged, or whatever the case may be. Um, and even if you give them something stretched out, putting that time in may not fit their style. So it's all about your style. And if you nail that, our room's real hard to fuck up in that regard. Um, FOMO's a hell of a
Yeah.
drug. FOMO's a hell of a drug. Um, I wanted to put this in there because you kind of said it. But one of my like top 5 life sayings, say it to everybody, especially when I'm in an adversary or a advisor role. But if you say all or nothing, if that's an option for you, you better be okay with nothing. You better be
Yeah.
okay with that because that's an option. So don't make that an option. That's a horrible way to live. It's a horrible way to live. Much rather have. I used to say it in high school. I don't need $1 million. I just need 100K. I mean, inflation fucked that all up. Can't say that anymore. But just be okay with making progress, especially in the financial space, because taking risks sucks. Um, and the wins. If you're a home run hitter, man, those strikeouts are definitely going to outweigh the home runs, and um, that just doesn't work in this game. You're better being Tony Gwynn and knowing that home runs aren't your thing.
Yeah. No, right. Yeah, absolutely. And I think the you know home runs
They'll happen.
they'll happen. Right. They'll happen. And
Well, for
but
me, you see the pitch, you just see
yeah.
it. Like like all right, okay. Let's just put it. I've never said it this way, and it's a horrible way. And sorry for cutting you here, but so I always say 10-20%. That's where I'm at. You don't think you don't think I'm trying to not bump my head when I'm robbing Wall Street? I gotta see 30-40%. I'm not just trying to trade something that only has 20% and just top it out every time. So my stuff constantly moves farther than I'm gonna take it. Just
Yeah.
happens. That's what you need. You need that tradable range. But there's occasionally when you see this is 3, 4, 500%. What up, SGML? What up, AG? And the
Yeah.
flow lines up with it. And yeah, you swing at that fucking pitch. CGC just fits it because it's a fucking dollar, right? $1 to 2 or $1.30 to 2.50, whatever. It just fits it. We've been there before. There's a news thesis behind that one. But in general, I mean, yeah, you just see the right pitch. And I don't know if that works on the flow side, but it really works on the TA side.
Yeah. Right. It's you're just the follow through. I like for that to be there even on the kind of the quick hitter stocks. And there are some that are in a pretty nasty downtrend, but I still trade the upside. And the only reason for that is because of the way that the premiums work, where something's just getting really punished at open, and people are just clearing out, and then you get a good fill, and it's pretty low risk. The RSI's in the dirt, and this is gonna it's opening down 5%. It's probably gonna pop up to -3%, and in whatever. But there's no follow through there. But when you're building a real position, that DCA, that swing. I mean, even something like Lulu, and then I'll get to some boring stuff. But it's that 204, 210. It has that look to 240, but it's got to have that follow through that I see. My one line on this thing, it's there in the leaps, and might not get there. Like 280 to 300 is kind of what I'm looking at on this thing, but when you can build that position, and get it in under 180 and just have that, um, and then you can hold for that follow through. You get rid of some on a pop like this, absolutely, but you can start to build. And I've had several where I'll start building again. I'll start averaging
Yeah,
up.
I'm gonna
I,
have
I
to.
did that with Wing, and so you build confidence in setups like that. But you know, it's not all or nothing. You build up 20 or 30 shares in this thing, and you know, okay, this is where I'm going to go ahead and get out if it happens. That's what happened with Spotify for me, and
Yeah,
Duolingo and whatever. But the idea here is that you don't turn a day trade into a swing, into an investment. But it's got to kind of work the other way around, where I'm building a swing position here, and shit, it's popping earlier than I thought. So here, I'll go ahead and get rid of some, and you make sure to just do it that way rather than the other way around, where you just keep piling in, and you're bagged. I mean, to I give quick kind of math on this. Imagine if you're down 30%, how much more you have to put in to be only down 10%. And people get in a lot of trouble that kind of thinking. So um, that's not where to be either.
the origin of the free shares was pretty much off of really shitty stocks and not wanting to have exposure after a 20, 30, 200% move, right? Not
Yeah.
wanting to have like your money still in it, but just in case. Back in the day, the Neos of the world, the Pitons of the world, stuff like that, on those big runs in 2020 and 2021, um, just kind of hanging out in a market. But that was more conditions driven, and I've rotated that over to 10 to 10 names on the street just so you have a position. Um, the best example, I mean, I'm probably not gonna keep Lulu here just because it's
Yeah.
I think I have like 4 shares after I sold. I mean, it's not a lot. I would love to buy back again and maybe build a little bit. Um, but I might end up with 4 or 5 of them. But the one that I did build pretty good this year, that I wouldn't have had in my portfolio was like Victoria's Secret, 100%.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's important to have those 10 of the 10 names on the street. And when we're trading those, to have a plan to kind of keep a little. And that right there, separating, this is just bullshit. This is just a wafer cleaner. This is just a Chinese EV. Like separating that stuff from, all right, this is a American company. Like it's not going anywhere. Worst case, it's ending up in Walmart. Like worst case. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's what or the fast food aisle. Like that's a Wendy's kind of thing right now. That that and one more thing like is consistent across the board for me, and it helped here, and it really helps on these bigger numbered stocks, the ones that you cover well. Higher, low, higher, high. And if you
Yeah.
don't get that, you buy the higher lows. And if you don't get a fucking higher high, if you get a higher low, you just rinse the position and trade it again. and
Yeah.
and you eventually you're going to break that resistance and get a higher high, and then you look at the next high, and that's a scale spot, and it's really simple on these bigger stocks. I use the 1 hour in the day for that, but man, not the biggest positions. I didn't put 16K in Lulu. It was more like 2K, but still,
Yeah.
you make a couple $100 and you call it good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's get boring.
Yeah. Let me.
You do that, I'm gonna say 2 things. Now 5-to-1 reverse split Thursday, and I'll wait for the other one until we get to Bitcoin. Go for it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Just want
Now,
to put it out
that
there.
was one I used to trade options on, but it gets away from you and it gets over $1,000. I mean,
Yeah,
you're talking about $1,400 weekly options, and not where I really want to be.
I've been watching Read the Room to see what I used to do and like what I should bring back, and I used to have the 2 minutes of news in the front end of that, And
Oh yeah,
so I was like,
nice.
oh yeah, I forgot I used to do that.
So yeah, copper. Little pullback Friday. A lot of metals pulled back Friday, but still just in the midst of this 5 to 7 thing. And if you're looking for stocks, I would say that fresh setups and smalls is probably where you're gonna be with a lot of these. You're gonna have to wait for like a pretty bad day on your CCOs and those kind of stocks to get back in on copper. But there's definitely some copper, steel, aluminum smalls that I got my eye on to see where they set up.
I'm
So
selling right now most of the stuff. Just saying.
yeah, yeah. Um, silver. I mean, I don't know what can you say. Silver dropped 4%. Didn't even really put a dent in what it's doing. So um, yeah, I don't think you want to enter up here for now, but give it time.
Yeah,
I mean, look what happened when you gave it time last time.
yeah.
In around 50, the pullback under 50 a couple times, and what happened. So just look for the trend to continue. Don't try to short it or anything. I would mess with that.
Nah, I think I mentioned it in the before we started, but a lot of these like smalls that you've traded before in both commodities we just talked about, you can short-term trade options on those for pretty cleanly. It looked like I could be wrong on
Yeah,
that, but this the pullbacks don't last. So you get the pullback, you can see it turn around. I would just use daily RTL levels for that. Look for some consolidation, pre-market low, yesterday low, or what the case may be, and just play the range, play in the box. And I was seeing stuff move, a dollar 50, or excuse me, like 75 cents to a dollar 50, 60 cents to $1.20, and so on. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think thank you trades are probably out there in the commodities still, especially if you know the stock well. I mean, you could do it the same with shares, but you're gonna trade like if you're trading AG, you're gonna trade it like low 15s to low 17s or something like that. Um,
yeah,
if that's your style.
yeah, absolutely. Um, and well, and I will say too, with options on those, you can buy time even for a day trade. Like, there's
Yeah,
no
you're playing
reason
the week, the monthly or something. You're not
the monthly,
playing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and it's
yeah,
still they're still pretty cheap. So,
yeah. I don't
um,
even think some of them had like days. P like some of them.
right, yeah, some of them only have monthly options, and then that can as it sort of the sweet spot for those for me is always it's 2 weeks to expiration because that gives you either you're going to trade the 2 week one or the 6 week one, and then I would just buy both of them and get rid of the shorter expiration faster and scale out in that way. And then the hedge is also only 2 weeks away. So if silver does just puke like it did Friday, uh, you're going to do really well in the hedge and be green on the whole thing because you have time on the call side, and then you just stay on it. So it's kind of a high maintenance trade, but a fairly one
It's
where
a,
you can protect yourself
it's a day
fairly
trade.
easily. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like at
Um,
these. It's December. Yeah. Go ahead.
and then natural gas getting the pullback here. Um, this is what it does. I mean, it's just it's just kind of typical natural gas for it to get to 5 and then pull back. Not exactly um, surprising, but here's where you look for, I think, a higher low, right? I mean, you probably rather not go back to 3, but let's just see what happens here. To me, it wakes up a lot of setups, and so you're gonna get some fresh setups, and this is clearing out leverage, much like crypto does. You got people over leveraged in Boyle and or UNG, and then it pulls back. So yeah, I'm real interested here. Did very well on this move. So now it's round two. Round two will be smaller, but probably still pretty good.
There's probably some geopolitical stuff behind the door in the smoke filled room that both the up and down move had to do with. That's just we're not privy to. Hoping for the pullback in the charts because I like trading the sector um,
Yeah.
in general. So I'm still 6 or 7. We'll get there.
Manipulation, as they say, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we'll go to oil. Oil's fine. I mean, I don't know, the people looking at this as a disaster. I mean, once again, like what did you buy it at 92? Why is it a disaster? You know, it's fine. Like it's just you're getting some stability down here. You'll get some little rallies. I would be mindful of geopolitical overnight moves in oil are not something you buy into, something you sell on. Um, so those, I've been in Oxy, like for example, a lot of nights where it pops 4 or 5% overnight. I mean, you know, that's why you built the thing. Don't sell all of it, but you know, I'll take some off the table with that because and then it's gonna pull back down, and that sustained move up is what you're looking for. So I still think spring and summer going to be pretty good for oil, but you know,
They
put it on the radar.
found another 5 dinosaurs off the coast of Antarctica. So
Yeah, 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 right, right.
um, I don't think people understand, and I'm not the smartest guy in the room. We all know that. I can barely fucking spell. Um, the oil prices going down are really good for everything else in the business world. So, like, it's really not a negative or a net neutral. It's a positive overall. Cheap oil is a super positive for commerce. Um,
Yeah,
the oil companies themselves, it's just like Coke and Pepsi, man. I don't know if you've all ever been to a place like Vegas or Disneyland, and then a place like, let's say, the stadium in Atlanta. But they sell that shit at the stadium in Atlanta for like $4. They give you like a 40-ounce cup, and they say the machines are over there. Just take what you want throughout the day. You go to
yeah,
Disneyland, you get a 20-ounce bottle for like 36.99. Um,
right.
they're gonna make money off of oil no matter what the price is. That's the point of that. Just like Pepsi's making money off of Pepsi or Coke making money off of Coke, no matter what the price is, they'll give it to you, and they'll probably find a way to make money off of it. So
Yeah.
just kind of be mindful of that when you get into oversold conditions on the commodities chart, because it's not that big of a deal. It's not like the world is ending, and it's probably beneficial for every other fucking aspect of your life.
Yeah, right. And it's and if you like leaps, it's a sector where you can find affordable leaps on really good companies, which isn't always the case. I mean, you can buy leaps on Beyond Meat pretty cheap if you want, but that's different than buying them on Oxy or something like that. So if you do want to make that kind of part of your trading and do the 80-20 thing I talk about with shares and options, then energy is a good place to build some skills there. All right, and then 10-year.
Did you just include gold with silver? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah, sorry, yeah, uh,
well, we usually kind of go the same with them, but
yeah, yeah. Yeah, gold didn't pull back as much, and then this is just kind of in some price discovery up here. Uh, you can see $5,000 gold. I mean,
nice.
nothing stopping that from
Five
happening.
five on gold first, 100 on silver first. Which one be?
Oh.
I'm curious.
Yeah, five on gold. 'Cause
Okay,
I think silver will be like 80 at that time.
gotcha. I'm probably with you. Gold, silver a little slower moving train.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see the 10-year. Yeah, surging a bit. You get through a big, big Fed deadline, and
Yeah.
you know, Jay Powell and all that shit. That'll start to happen. This 4.3 or something like that. Certainly possible. But also see it just kind of rejecting here. I mean, if this were if this were just a stock, if this were like the Helen of Troy chart or something, what would you be seeing right in this little it's just consolidation, right? I mean,
Yeah, I would just apply the same thing I said about the bigger stocks or stocks in general, the higher low,
yeah, yeah,
higher high, because that's what you're following. I mean, that's why I read commodity charts, Bitcoin included, so well, is because I'm just using that. I mean, we don't have no volume here for me to use, so that's out the window. So
yeah,
this is good consolidation. If you're on a weekly, you probably have three candles, um, and
right.
that's where I would attack. I mean, this isn't going to move like that, but in general, we want this consolidation. Um, you nailed it about the market getting through a pretty big event that it already had priced in and exhaling, so to speak, currently. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm with it, P.
All right, and then I'll get to just some Bitcoin.
Coin looking like MSTR on that 50 right now, Pete. Just want to tell you that it's rejecting it. I wrote the
Yeah,
math
yeah.
for you.
No, I'm a little bearish on crypto and hopeful it does it.
Hell
So
yeah.
basically,
Remember when it
um,
was like 55 for I think it's 55, 52, and we were like 17, please. And fucking people
yeah,
thought we were batshit crazy. And
right,
it
right.
went all the way down there and then back on that huge run. It's just what Bitcoin does. It's gonna sell off six. I just use 50 because the math is easy. And we 120 said it last week. 60 be nice, and I think we're both still there.
Yeah, yeah. No, I am. It probably puts up a fight at 80K for a minute, but no, yeah, you want some real despair in the crypto space, and just a lot of people to get not they're going to get wiped out. I'm not the one wiping them out, so I don't feel too bad about it. But if you want fresh setups here, and you want to do more than just I've been trading MSTR, and it'll have a nice little 4 or 5% day, and then still end up down 3 to 5% on the week. You can imagine what's happening during all that. If you want to stop doing that and be able to buy the thing, then yeah, you want some pain, and coin. Definitely kind of fits the bill for that. So I got a lot of lines on coin. That 221 is going to be pretty good.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, and then I would say probably the real despair is probably middle of that zone rather than the bottom of it. But yeah, we're a little ahead of ourselves there, but we'll see. I think we get there.
I like a little off topic, but I like how you always have you break my multiple line rules, but they're always in zones, so I allow it.
Yeah.
I like it. You still have the
Yeah.
zone, so and I think zones are
Yeah,
important.
that's how options work. I mean, they're
Yep,
the ones
yep.
that bookend your spots. Tesla was a great combo for that.
Coin,
And
but it
the
was
coin too. Yeah,
70s. It was 70s.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The same thing.
Absolutely.
Um,
Yep.
yeah. Oh, real quick, then don't go too long on it. You don't have to. I just want to know if you've seen it. It seems like a lot of altcoins, stable coins bullshit. Like new coins are coming out. Am I wrong on that? Like they're trying to like
Oh, you're
say,
right. Oh,
yeah, like this one's gonna be like they're putting a suit and a tie on these coins. Finally, that's what they're trying to do. No more fart
uh,
coin and cake
yeah.
coin and Doge. It's like the stable yada. I don't know. That's what I've read. I don't
Well,
read a lot, but that's what I've read.
the parallel story to that is the tokenization of stocks,
Stocks. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's going to be on the blockchain. So I mentioned that I think that for me, yeah, the data center trade, which is not a flash in the pan. I mean, that's going to be a huge thing. There's a whole real quick on that. There's a whole propaganda machine about data centers, and the reason you can tell this is that you get these really weird quotes where somebody messed up what they were supposed to say about it. Like this lady was talking about how we should buy artificial Christmas trees because we need the land from Christmas tree farms for data centers, and we
What?
need to get on board with that. And it's just like, and this is on Fox News. I'm like, this is the War on Christmas channel telling us to wipe out real Christmas trees. So some wires got crossed, right? This isn't authentic commentary. Like one of the writers they typed the wrong prompt into ChatGPT or something. But anyway, there's the directive is out there to promote data centers, and it's going to bump up against the NIMBYs people, and it's going to be a huge thing for stocks. But anyway, as far as the blockchain goes, the next iteration of the crypto trade is utility in respect to the blockchain and not calling it crypto, and then who can leverage that the best, and so the stable coins being the intermediary for your tokenized stocks is the thing that's I think is gonna move all that stuff.
Decent.
So who benefits from that? Kind of hard to say, but I would just initially, without knowing much about it, you want to have something in your basket. It's coin, it's Square, it's PayPal, it's services. That's where that will come into play.
Nice.
All right, and
Spy.
you talk Spy real quick.
Yeah, 2 or 3 minutes on that and get out of here.
Yep.
Doing good.
Yeah, probably don't have much here, but we'll see what.
I'm still mindful of my number, 660. I guess 663, 64 if you're taking volume profile auto RTL numbers into that equation. Yeah, we're overcooked still, in my opinion. Didn't think we were gonna be here, but we are. You can rotate real well when you're overcooked, and then that can pull back, and you're still gonna be okay. And that's what I'm looking for. Kind of what we said last year, P. With it's kind of a downer on Apple last year, and it turned out to be everything in April. So it's kind of a lucky guess with the timing. But I think you see those profit takers again in January, which will keep this pretty stagnant.
March 645p.
That's still down there, huh? Jesus.
Yeah.
They won't let it go.
And 640p. So they're selling
640p
and buying 645p. So they're it still doesn't have its complement. It needs a 660 February well, actually, here's what I would say. If the 660 is February, then I think we pull under that, even if briefly. If the 660 is April or later, they're going to roll this 640 probably to June or May or something. So, but it's the one to watch. It's the only game in town as far as the way I do this. So, so I don't have a. There's not, I'm not talking about buying SQQQ on this look, but it's the first punch, and what's the second punch? That's what I'm just waiting to see.
Yeah, I mean, 653 makes more sense if you do break down there, which, I mean, we've done it 1, 2, 3, like 4 or 5 weekly candles over the last quarter and a half, but
yeah,
I just don't see the
well,
appetite.
This contract works fine for that. I mean, that would,
yeah,
this thing will double or more if it does.
Well, I think that they're trying to the proverbial they are trying to do something with their positions that still make them money Monday through Friday. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that's, and I kind of said it earlier, but I don't know how to get that across. But I mean, they don't want to sell the shares because they're in a good spot, but they still have to do something at work, right? They can't just say, we're up 100%, boss, I'm going to go get on my yacht, see you in 6 months. They can't do that. They have to act like they're fucking strategically moving shit around. And it's kind of what it's felt like through the whole thing. I don't want to get conspiracy theorists stubborn on that, so to speak. But just mindful and make sure I put it on your plate so you can tell me to not to be that way.
Yeah.
So this more of the same, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm a 3-2 market guy. That's what I'm seeing, and the 3 up is way better than it's more of like 2 flat, depending on the play.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, with you there.
Perfect. You ready to get to work?
Yep.
Perfect. Like and subscribe. Link somewhere, people.